34 Love Struck Fool. Nathan Johnson was walking out of school by himself. His entire gang had abandoned him, leaving him all alone. All because they were too scared that something might happen to them. The school had yet to release the names of the dead students, so Nathan had no idea that they all died. He just thought that they were trying to avoid him after they ditched the group. Those damn fucking pussies, ditching the gang just because they were too scared. I ain't scared of shit. If anyone tries messing with me, I'll beat the shit out of them. I will find new members for the gang and make it 1,000 times better than when I was with those chumps. Nathan thought to himself as he angrily walked outside the school gates heading towards his dorm. Then, suddenly, his phone started ringing. It was not a number he recognized, but he decided to answer it anyway. Who the fuck is this? I'm in a bad mood right now, so make it quick. Nathan said as he answered the call. Hello, is this Nathan Johnson? The caller asked. The voice sounded like a smooth, seductive voice that had a very sexy allure to it. Yeah, that's me. What do you want? And how did you get this number? Nathan said, softening his tone up a bit after hearing the voice of the caller. This is Jaden Griffith from the one and only Griffith family. I have my ways of getting your number, but don't worry, this number is for only me and me alone. I definitely won't share it with anyone. The voice said, keeping the same allure in her tone. What? Jaden Griffith. She is arguably one of the hottest girls in the entire school. And plus, from what I've heard, she is completely loaded. What the fuck does someone like that want with me? Nathan inwardly panicked. Why are you calling me? What do you want? If I ever messed with you, then I sincerely seek your forgiveness. Nathan said, completely switching his tone of voice. Then, he heard a cute chuckle coming from the other side of the phone. Before we continue talking, I want you to go somewhere private and make sure you are not being followed or spied on. Okay? Jaden said with a small adorable chuckle at the end. Nathan had left the school and went to a completely secluded dark alley, making sure he wasn't being followed the entire way there. Okay, I'm now completely alone and out of anyone's sight. I made sure of it. Now, what was it that you needed to tell me? Nathan asked nervously, expecting the worst. I called you to make a confession. I've been holding off on it for a long time, but I can't hold myself back anymore. Ever since I saw you on the first day of school, I've had the biggest crush on you. She said in a loud, lustful tone. I'm sorry to ask, but, is this some sort of prank? Are you sure you have the right person? Nathan asked, nervously, still in shock. Don't belittle my love for you like this. I am completely serious. I, Jaden Griffith, love Nathan Johnson from all my heart. She answered with a firm resolve, like she was questioned and forced to defend herself. What about that bitch Moby Kane? I heard you took him as your pet. Are you still involved with that fucker? Nathan asked in a somewhat serious but still nervous tone. After Nathan said that, a long awkward silence ensued where Jaden did not respond, and then she talked again like nothing happened. Oh, him? He was just my little toy for a while. I got bored of him and threw him out a while ago. He and I didn't even have anything intimate, I just used him like a dog and a slave, following my every command. Just like all low-level scum should do. Nathan said, continuing her sentence with a clear, confident attitude. Ha ha ha. Yes. Exactly. See? You and I already share so much in common. She said with a cute giggle. Don't worry. I don't see you as a pet like that Moby Kane. You are my one and only true love. I didn't tell you this at school in order to not cause a big fuss. I want our first time and our first date to be completely private. I think it's more romantic that way. So please, hold off on bragging to your friends about me until after our first date. She said with her cute, seductive giggle. Nathan could still not believe his ears. It was almost too good to be real. He was just having the absolute worst week of his life, and now it has turned into a dream come true. His mini trooper started to grow and get aroused. He was so excited and horny to even think about anything other than going to see her right now. "Jaden, my love, when can I come to see you? I am dying to have our first date," Nathan said in a clear, lustful manner. "Right now would be perfect. I also can't wait to see you. Come to my house right now. Also, make sure that you are not being followed. I don't want people to know that we are together before we personally announce it to the world tomorrow. My address is 34 Grover Street. It's a big mansion. You can't miss it," Jaden said while also blowing an audible kiss. "I'll be there right away, my love," Nathan said, blowing back a kiss. "I can't wait. I'm getting horny already. Don't take too long. It's rude to make a lady wait," Jaden said, still with her seductive voice, ending the call. As soon as the call ended, Nathan immediately called a taxi to drive him to her house. He made sure that he wasn't being watched before getting in. 15 minutes later. During the entire taxi drive, Nathan had been fantasizing about what he would do with Jaden. The taxi driver found Nathan's expression super disturbing, but he decided to not comment and pretend nothing happened. When Nathan finally reached Jaden's mansion, he was flabbergasted at its sheer size and grandeur. "I knew Jaden was rich, but not this rich. If I marry into the Griffith family, not only would I have a hot wife, but I would also be filthy rich," Nathan thought with eyes of greed and a lustful smile. After Nathan walked through the huge garden in front of the mansion admiring how expensive it looked, he finally got to the front door. He rang the doorbell and waited impatiently for someone to open. Not too long after, an old man with gray hair and a mustache wearing a butler uniform opened the door. "Oh, you must be Nathan Johnson. The one that the young miss has been waiting for. Allow me to escort you to her quarters," the butler said with a bow. "Yes, I am indeed Nathan Johnson. Your young Mrs. True Love. I am really excited to finally meet her," Nathan said with an overbearing tone. On the way to Jaden's room, Nathan could not help but keep looking at everything in the house with greedy eyes, not holding himself back at all. He must be another one of the young Mrs. Toys. But he is different from the last one she brought. This one is as fat and greedy as a pig with no redeeming qualities whatsoever. How has the young miss sunk so low? The butler thought with a sigh. After a few minutes of walking, they finally reached their destination. "This is the young Mrs. Chambers, she has been awaiting your arrival. I will be on my way now," the butler said, bowing and walking back the way they came. Standing in front of the door, Nathan felt many emotions. He felt nervous, excited, but most of all, horny. His little trooper has already reached its full capacity from just fantasizing making a small visible bulge in his pants. He steeled his resolve and opened the door. There, he saw Jaden sitting on a bed in a very alluring manner, wearing very revealing lingerie clothing. "I've been waiting for you, my love," she said with a cute giggle that would make any man go crazy. "If you enjoy my novel, please vote to help me in the contest." Episode 35. A false sense of joy. As soon as Nathan saw Jaden, he felt like his body went into autopilot. He could not control his actions anymore. He ran over to Jaden with lustful eyes and jumped on the bed, aiming to fall right on top of her. "Don't get too hasty," Jaden screamed in a disgusted manner, putting her hand out, blocking him from his head so he doesn't land on her. Through Nathan's distorted vision, it was like Jaden looked like an angel or goddess telling him that she wants to take it slow and steady. Jaden immediately noticed that she went out of character and fixed herself up. On the phone, she would always have a hard time trying to not cringe and feel disgusted. She did not want to insult her one and only friend, even if it was to a dead man. But Moby pushed her on, saying he doesn't care and he knows she does not actually mean it and that it will all be with it in the end. "It's okay. I know you don't actually mean it. Just bear through it for now. In the end, it's all going to be worth it. We will give him such a huge sense of false joy and happiness before we violently rip it out that it would be so hilarious and cruel at the same time. Other times, she tried so hard to keep herself from laughing that a little giggle would always come out no matter how hard she tried to suppress herself. Right now, she was having one of those cringe and disgusted moments. She worried that she might have messed up the plan and ruined everything. Fuck. I think my stupid ass might have blown our cover. We should switch to plan B immediately. Jaden said to Moby telepathically. As soon as they were about to prepare for a switch of plans, Nathan suddenly spoke. I am here as you requested, my love. When will we have sex? I can't wait. Nathan said with a lustful and impatient gaze. False alarm. He's retarded. I think he might be so completely head over heels in love with me that he didn't even notice anything off, she said to Moby with a mental sigh. Not so fast, Nathan, my love. Before I accept you, I need to know if you are worthy and strong enough to protect me. I will need you to fight someone of my choice to prove your strength and love for me. Jaden said in a sexy voice. Of course, Jaden, honey. I have no problems proving my love to you. I shall defeat anyone in your name no matter the strength. I promise you that I am more than capable of protecting you, and I shall prove that to you very soon, dear. Now, where is the sorry chump that I have to defeat? Nathan said with clear passion. Your opponent is right here. She said, pointing at Moby, who was standing next to her. Moby had been standing beside Jaden the entire time, but Nathan was not able to notice him. He was way too focused on Jaden's beauty to even pay attention to anything in his surroundings. From the moment Nathan got into the room, Moby was trying his absolute best not to burst out laughing. Avelia was dying of laughter in his head, which made it even harder for Moby to hold it in. Luckily, Moby somehow suppressed his laughter and even managed to wear a solid poker face. Him. I thought you threw this fucker out? Nathan asked with a surprised expression. I decided to keep him for an extra day just for this special occasion. If you can't even beat my previous pet, then what kind of man would you be to me? Jaden said in a serious tone. Honey, with all due respect, I don't believe beating up an F-class weakling like this would prove my strength at all. Please reconsider. I can take on much tougher chumps than this reject. Nathan said, spitting at Moby. Moby casually dodged the spit and said. What? Are you too pussy to fight me? Because that's all I hear. Moby said with a laugh. Shut up, bitch. Don't you remember what happened to you the last time you decided to fuck with me? Nathan said, getting in Moby's face. I am happy to know you think it will be such an easy task. If you are able to beat this weakling, then I will be all yours. Jaden said, emphasizing her body. Say no more, my love. This loser will be crying on the ground, kissing my feet, begging for my forgiveness in no time. Nathan said with confidence. As soon as he said that, Jaden burst out laughing seemingly out of nowhere. Moby's face started to have a slight hint of red on it from him trying to hold in his laughter. Avelia started laughing harder than ever, making it nearly impossible for Moby to maintain his poker face. This shit is too funny. I can't hold it in much longer. Moby thought. Nathan did not at all find it weird or out of character that Jaden was laughing so hard. He thought she was laughing trying to imagine the scene that he just described. He was admiring how cute she was while doing so with a creepy smile. It was like he was completely brainwashed by her charm. Nathan also mistook Moby's slightly red face as Moby starting to get angry and embarrassed, which put an even bigger smile on his face. My mansion has its own battle arena. The fight will be done over there. I can't have you guys fighting in my room. Jaden said while still giggling as she has yet to fully recover from her previous burst of laughter. It's fine by me, dear. It's not like it would change the outcome, Nathan said with an arrogant snarl. Miss Jaden, will it be okay if I stay here for a while longer to better prepare myself for the battle? I promise I will follow you guys right away after I'm done. It won't take too long, Moby said with a calm-looking face. That was redder than a tomato. Very well, but don't take too long, Jaden said while leaving the room with Nathan. As soon as they left the room, Moby immediately started laughing his ass off, rolling on the ground in hysteria. He did not even wait for them to go far, laughing as soon as the door was shut because he knew that the room was completely soundproof. Heh, what a fucking pussy, right? His face was completely red from anger and embarrassment. I must have been a little too mean to him, hurting his feelings, Nathan said to Jaden with a loud laugh. Oh, yes, of course. He's definitely a pussy, Jaden said with an awkward smile. The whole way to the arena, Nathan was looking at Jaden with the eyes of a predator, which made her feel almost uncomfortable enough to cut off his head right here and now. When they finally reached the arena, Nathan's eyes fell upon something other than Jaden's body. It was still small compared to the school's arena, but it was still huge, being the size of half a football field. Instead of the blue accent of the school's arena, this one was purple. There were also around 250 seats surrounding the whole arena, with a protective bubble protecting the stands just like the one in the school. I knew the house looked huge on the outside, but I didn't realize that it could fit an arena this size, Nathan said, staring at the arena in awe. Nathan and Jaden sat on the bench beside the main arena stage, making small talk, waiting for Moby to finally arrive. Nathan kept on trying to flirt with Jaden the whole time and even went in for the kiss a few times. Jaden managed to dodge all the kisses and managed to hide her disgust behind her poker face. It's already been over 5 minutes. You sure he's even gonna show up? I scared the shit out of him. He definitely pussied out the last time we met, Nathan said, telling her the story of how he tortured Moby, laughing and making jokes, trying to make himself look cool. After Moby finally calmed himself down, he finally left the room and ran straight to the arena. The whole time, Jaden kept telling him things like, hurry up, he's getting so annoying that I might just accidentally kill him. So, Moby ran to the gym at full speed, not holding anything back. Hold on a bit longer. I'll be right there, Moby said to Jaden in a serious tone. When Moby finally reached the arena, it was worse than he anticipated. Thanks to his enhanced hearing, Moby was able to hear their entire conversation. And then, after the 7th fingernail, he started to. Nathan was bragging about how much pain he had caused Moby and was trying to lean closer to her and kiss her multiple times. When Moby used their mind link to read Jaden's emotions, he felt such immense anger coming from her that it was almost drowning. How the fuck is she hiding all that anger? Moby thought. Jaden was able to bear how Nathan actually thought he had a chance with her, and she thought it was hilarious every time he said that he could beat Moby, but what she could not stand more than anything is how he was insulting and bragging about torturing her only friend. I'm sorry for being so late, Moby said, pretending to be tired from running. Oh, it looks like Moby is finally here. We can now start the fight, Jaden said, standing up and heading towards the stage. Wait. But I'm only now getting to the good part, Nathan said in disappointment. It's okay. You can tell me the rest after the match is over, Jaden said with a cute smile. Both Moby and Nathan stood on opposite sides of the stage waiting for the signal to start. Nathan took a fighting stance while Moby just stood there doing nothing. Why are you just standing there smiling like a retard? Did I scare you too much for you to even move? Nathan said with a loud laugh. Moby just stood there with a cynical smile that quickly turned into a sadistic laugh. Has he gone crazy? He must have lost his mind knowing that he has no chance to win and that I'm going to beat the shit out of him, Nathan thought with a confident smile. Jaden raised a gun in the air, about to signal the start of the match. 3, 2, 1. Start, Jaden said with a distorted devilish grin. Well, boys, we did it. We got second place in the contest. The contest will end in a few hours and we did so well. I never expected to get this far with this novel to the point that I get second place. I only started this novel for fun one day and it evolved into something many people like and support. It's so unbelievable that it makes me feel underserved of all this love and support. It might sound like I'm over-exaggerating, but I promise you I'm not. You guys did all of this. If it weren't for you, I wouldn't be here writing this chapter right now. Thank you so much. Episode 36 Toying with Prey. Before the match even started, Moby had already used his inspect skill on Nathan. Name, Nathan Johnson. Race, human. Ability, level 3 Earth. Power level, 2520. HP, 100/100. Wear, 39/39. Strength, 75. Agility, 61. Endurance, 77. Intelligence, 39. Mind, 0. The low intelligence stat is very fitting to his actual intelligence, Moby thought with a little chuckle. As soon as the match started, Nathan surrounded his hands with metal from the ground, creating makeshift metal boxing gloves enveloping his fists. The Earth ability is not only limited to manipulating rock, it is able to manipulate any metal, mineral, or rock. Also, using and manipulating existing Earth will lower his mana consumption by a lot than if he were to instead create his own. And, due to Nathan's low mana capacity, that is what he opted for. Nathan rushed at Moby with full speed, laughing like a maniac the whole way there. Moby was still standing there smiling, seemingly unfazed by the speeding Nathan heading his way. Nathan threw a heavy right punch aiming for Moby's head as soon as he reached within striking distance. As soon as Nathan felt that his fist was about to make contact with his opponent's skull, Moby simply moved his head sideways in a manner akin to him stretching, dodging the attack in the process. Nathan's fists hit the air as he ran right past Moby's position. What the fuck? How did I even miss it? I swear my fist was just an inch away from his face a moment ago. Nathan thought in shock. When he looked back at Moby, he could see him stretching his neck, arm, and legs as nothing happened. Was he really that lucky? Nathan thought in disbelief. His opponent only had a power level of 800, it's physically impossible for him to dodge even if he sees the attack coming. His body would not be able to move fast enough. Nathan decided to forget about what happened as he concluded that it was just extreme luck. Nathan rushed at the still stretching Moby once again. But this time, instead of one strong punch, he opted for a barrage of jabs and kicks. Moby just casually dodged every incoming attack with his eyes closed while still doing his stretching motion. He's so slow and his attack pattern is so predictable. It's pathetic. Moby thought with a chuckle. Even with his eyes closed, Moby could still use his energy sense and his advanced senses to predict where Nathan's next attack will go. Moby was doing this because he wanted to see how long Nathan will play the "he's just getting extremely lucky" card before figuring out what is actually happening. What the fuck? How are none of my attacks connecting? It's impossible. No one, no matter how strong, can so nonchalantly dodge my attacks with their eyes closed. He must be the luckiest man on earth. I can't be embarrassing myself like this in front of my love Jaden. Nathan thought in anger. At this point, Nathan was still holding back on using the full extent of his Earth ability because he thought he would have defeated Moby too quickly, which would have not been fun at all. So, he decided to use a bit more of his powers to shift the tides in his favor and teach Moby a lesson about what happens when you provoke him. On one of Nathan's punches, a bunch of metal spikes extended from his glove which headed straight towards Moby's eyes at immense speed. If he doesn't want to open his eyes and see me, then I'll make him blind. That will teach this fucker. Nathan thought with a sadistic smile. As soon as Moby felt the attack coming, he was finally forced to open his eyes and actually dodge. Then, he counterattacked by ducking under his attack, punching Nathan in the chest, making him fly several meters in the process. Nathan coughed a small amount of blood on the ground and was forced to go on one knee as a result of Moby's previous blow. What the fuck? How is he so lucky? No. It can't be luck. It's impossible. The only explanation must be that he is somehow cheating. Nathan thought, gritting his teeth in anger. What the fuck? This is bullshit. You are clearly cheating. Either that or you are just the luckiest man on earth. Nathan bellowed with anger and annoyance. I guess I'm the luckiest man on earth then, Moby said with a loud laugh that made Nathan's face turn completely red out of anger. Let's go. Beat his ass. I want to see him beg and cry like a baby. Jaden said, cheering from the sideline. As soon as Nathan heard Jaden's voice, he immediately calmed down and regained his motivation with renewed resolve. Jaden is cheering for me. I can't disappoint her now. Watch me as I tear this loser into shreds and prove my undying love for you. Nathan thought, getting up and taking a fighting stance, deciding to not hold anything back anymore. Little did he know that Jaden's cheering was not aimed for him at all but was instead intended for Moby. Nathan surrounded his whole body in metal armor and created a large metal spear, holding it firmly in both arms. Alright pussy. So far I was holding myself back in order to not immediately kill you. But now, I'm not holding anything back anymore. You will regret this moment for the rest of your life. Watch me, Jaden, my love. This poor loser will be wishing he were dead real soon. Trust me. Nathan said with confidence. Jaden gave a cute chuckle as soon as he said that, which Nathan took as a sign of her accepting his words. Nathan rushed at Moby much faster than before. He formed many different metal spears in the air and launched them at Moby with incredible speed. Moby jumped and dodged the incoming spears. As soon as he landed, he noticed that his feet became sunken into the ground. Making him unable to move. Suddenly Moby had a fearful and panicked expression on his face as he tried his hardest to free his legs, struggling with no avail. I got you now, you little cunt. Nathan screamed with his tongue out like a complete lunatic, thrusting his metal spear towards Moby's chest. Suddenly, Nathan's spear stopped in its tracks, stunning him from the sudden and abrupt stop. It felt like he had struck a mountain instead of a person. Moby had stopped Nathan's attack by holding his spear with 2 fingers. He started laughing like a madman as he snapped off the tip of the metal spear, only using those same 2 fingers. CK bitch, you thought? Moby said with a fiendish laugh. Nathan had instinctively backed off from Moby as soon as he noticed that his attack had no effect. Moby walked out of the binds that were holding his feet like they were not even there and slowly approached Nathan. Stay the fuck away from me. Nathan bellowed with a hint of fear in his eyes. Nathan tried to bind Moby's movements, sucking his feet into the metal ground once again, but Moby just walked right out of it like it was not even there. Don't get any fucking closer. Nathan screamed now with intense fear. Nathan began using every binding technique he knew to constrain Moby's movements with no avail. Then, he started throwing a barrage of metal spears at Moby, which resulted in him either dodging or easily deflecting the attack. Moby was slowly walking towards Nathan wearing a sadistic smile, giving off such an intense aura and killing intent that it made Nathan's legs immediately fail him, making him land ass first on the ground with a horrified expression. Nathan was now completely out of mana. He had tried every trick in the book to try and win, but it all ended in utter failure. He had no more hope of winning. He now knew that he had no chance of victory to begin with, and he was only being toyed with like a predator playing with its prey before a meal. How? What the fuck are you? You were supposed to be weak trash. How are you this strong? Nathan cried out in horror. Weak trash? Why don't you check again? When Nathan checked Moby's watch to see his power level, his nether regions had suddenly got all wet as a yellow liquid was flowing down like a river from under him. 3,570. Impossible. I checked your power level right before we started and it clearly said 800. No one can suppress their power level like that. I've heard that line many times before at this point, but it never gets old. Moby said with a laugh. I give up. Please. Just let me leave. I promise I won't tell anyone about what nothing. He was like a dry, empty, hollow husk of what he used to be. We can't have you lose your emotions now, can we? We haven't even gotten to the fun part yet, Moby said, staring at Nathan's dead eyes, holding him by the hair with a disappointed expression. Let's start nice and easy just like how you did with me. Moby said with a smile. Moby grabbed a finger and broke it in one swift motion. As soon as he felt the pain, life came back into Nathan's previously dead eyes. Tears started running down his face once again as he screamed a terrifyingly loud scream of pain. Anan. If you enjoy my novel, please vote to help support me and to tell me you are enjoying my work. This is the moment a lot of you have only friend. Jaden said from behind him with a chuckle. Dear. Nathan said with a stream of tears running down his face. Why would someone like me ever possibly like a filthy donkey such as yourself? Don't you get it? This was planned. I nearly vomited every time I was forced to say that I liked you. And, every time you would stare at me with your lustful eyes like I was some doll, it made me want to kill you on the spot. Jaden said, spitting on his face in disgust. But, I'm glad I didn't. The expression on your face has made the entire experience worth it. She said with a distorted laugh. As soon as Jaden said that, Nathan felt like his entire world was crumbling right in front of him. The last few hours, which he thought was the best time of his entire life, was no more than a lie, a fabrication, just to see him suffer. Any shred of previous hope, dignity, joy, or will he had to live, had just gotten cruelly ripped out from his soul, leaving him with happened here, just please let me go. I will never mess with you ever again. I promise. Nathan said, kneeling his head on the ground. Ha ha ha. Don't you remember when you said that I would be the one to grovel at your feet? Oh, how the tables have turned. And about your question. Let me think about it for a second. Fuck no. Now, why the fuck would I let you go now? I will make you pay 1,000-fold for all the shit you made me go through. I will torture you many times harder than how I tortured your goons. You better be prepared. Moby said, squatting down to Nathan's eye level, giving him a dark, twisted smile. You killed my whole gang. It was you who destroyed my gang. Nathan said, trying to crawl away from Moby as fast as he could. Jaden. My love. This psycho is gonna kill me. Please control your pet. Nathan screamed out like a madman. Now why the fuck would I ever help a fat, disgusting, greedy pig like you over my... Episode 37. The much-awaited torture. Moby had just finished breaking all of Nathan's fingers and ripped out all of his fingernails. Nathan let out a loud scream of pain with a gushing waterfall coming down his face every step of the way. When Nathan's last fingernail was torn, he thought that it would be the end of the torture. However, he was sadly mistaken. Suddenly, a bright green light shined on Nathan's hands and they were completely healed. David. Where did you come from? You bitch. Were you working with them all along? Nathan roared in anger and surprise, regaining more and more emotions. Nah, it's just me. Jaden said with a chuckle as she transformed back into her original body. Why, you are no humans. What the fuck are you? Nathan screamed like a madman. Ha ha ha, you just now noticed. Of course, we are not humans. We are demons. Moby said, staring into Nathan's eyes, using his nightmare skill. The skill only lasted a second, but for Nathan, it might as well have been days or even weeks. Then, Moby squatted down to Nathan's eye level, looking straight into his pale, error-filled eyes. "Are you ready for round 2? Moby said with a sadistic smile. "I was waiting to say that line for a while now," Moby thought with a chuckle, patting himself on the back. Moby once again broke all of Nathan's fingers and ripped out all his fingernails. The pain was just as hard as the first time, as Nathan kept screaming and crying all the way through. Then, Jaden would heal his hands and they would start again. Moby repeated the process 10 times before Jaden finally interrupted him. "Can I have my turn now? You can't hog all the fun for yourself," Jaden said to Moby in a slightly impatient tone. "Sure. Knock yourself out," Moby said with a smile, walking away from Nathan. "Do you know how uncomfortable I felt every time you would stare at me like I was a doll, and every time you called me honey, dear, or my love? I wanted to throw up every time I was pretending to like you, and how you actually thought you had a chance. But, all of that has been more than worth it for this moment now," Jaden said with a cynical smile. "Do you know how many times you said either honey, dear, or my love? Because I do. 17. And I will make you pay for every word," Jaden said as she took off Nathan's pants and underwear, exposing his tiny soldier. "So, that is the puny, little, disgusting thing you fantasized about putting inside me, huh?" Jaden said with a loud laugh. "Pathetic," she screamed as she used a swipe of shadow energy, slicing it clean off. Blood started gushing everywhere from where his sorry excuse for a cock used to be. Jaden picked up Nathan's dick off the ground using her shadow ability as she refuses to touch or even come anywhere near his disgusting cock. "You also expected me to suck this little thing? Disgusting, why don't you have a taste then?" Jaden said as she forced Nathan's mouth open using her shadow ability, shoving his dick into his own mouth, choking on it. Nathan started to gag on his own dick with eyes filled with fear and embarrassment, struggling to spit it out before finally succeeding. "Don't get too happy," Jaden said with a chuckle. "This was only the first of 17 times. You still have to endure this 16 more times," Jaden said with a smile that would have definitely made Nathan piss himself if only he still had a dick to do it with. Suddenly, Jaden transformed into a short green-haired girl instead of David, to do the healing. "Your friend David's ability is super slow and weak compared to this girl's. He can't even regrow lost limbs as he was only limited to healing bones and injuries. I'm glad I found this person, or else this would have not been possible," Jaden said with a smile as she completely healed Nathan's penis, making another one grow back where the last one used to be. After the 16th time of Nathan gagging and getting his dick cruelly sliced off, it was finally Moby's turn to do the torturing once again. At this point, Nathan could no longer feel his nether regions anymore. He doubts that he would ever be able to go to the washroom without suffering severe PTSD, or if his dick would ever work properly again. But, that was now the least of Nathan's worries. If he dies, then there would no longer be a reason for him to go to the washroom or use his dick ever again. Nathan's skin was as pale as a ghost, his eyes have long since dried up from tears, and he had nearly completely lost his voice from screaming. "Are you happy to see me again?" Moby said with a smile. Nathan tried to run away from Moby as soon as he neared him. But, he only ended up squirming in a place like a worm having a seizure, trying his best to scream and cry with nothing coming out. Nathan has yet to recover from Moby's nightmare, which felt like more torture than everything else he had gone through. All that Nathan wanted was a fast, painless death. The pain he felt never got old, and he never got used to it. If anything, it felt more painful every time. But, he knows full well that his wish is out of reach. "Jaden, can you please be a dear and heal his eyes and vocal cords for me? I really want to hear his loud pain-filled screams and see his waterfall of tears once again," Moby said with a heartwarming smile towards Jaden. "Why, certainly," Jaden replied with a cute smile, doing as asked. "Please. Just kill me now. I can't take it anymore." I beg of you. Nathan screamed as soon as he felt that his voice had been healed. Suddenly, Moby started laughing in hysteria at Nathan's words. Then, he cut off Nathan's bindings and looked straight at him with a slight glow in his eyes. Shove your fist up your ass, Moby ordered in an authoritative tone. Moby found out that he can use his minor mind control to make people do only a little self-harm as long as it's not severe, or fatal. Breaking bones was not allowed, but eating or drinking anything was possible. Shoving someone's fist up their ass was completely in the realm of possibility of the mind control. He had a lot of time to experiment with the rest of Nathan's gang. They were the perfect test subjects. Suddenly, Nathan felt like he had lost control of his body as his hands moved all by themselves. He formed a fist and shoved his ass fairly deep. After 5 seconds, Nathan pulled his shit-covered hands out of his ass. It gave off a dreadful smell from the clumps of feces that covered his hands. Now, eat it. Moby said, pointing at the shit covering Nathan's hand as he started to laugh. Nathan tried his best to resist, but it was no use. Before he knew it, he had already been sucking on his hands like a toddler, licking off every speck of shit covering it. Although Nathan's body was moving on its own, the taste of his own shit was still very real and revolting. As soon as the mind control wore off, Nathan threw up in liters. It was you. You were the one who controlled my body and made me do all that weird shit in the washroom that day. Luckily, no one else saw, but I know you had another motive. Nathan managed to mutter. I'm surprised you are still able to think properly even after going through all that. I guess I need to pick up the pace. But, you're right. I had everything filmed and I am going to be posting it online. I'm going to make so much money from that video. Moby said with a greedy laugh. Oh great demon Lord Moby Kane. Please spare me. I am willing to submit myself to your will. Please make me into your eternal servant. I promise that I will be of great use. Nathan screamed like an insane madman. He had already lost all his dignity, so what is the harm of begging one last time? Even if it has a 0.000000001% chance of working. As soon as Nathan said that, Moby looked like he was deep in thought, taking in what Nathan was saying. I guess, it's about time I try this out. Moby thought with a smile. Fine. But you better make yourself useful. Once you become my servant you will be bound by my words and orders and have no will to disagree. Moby said as he put his hands on Nathan's head. I thank the all-powerful demon lord for his kindness. I promise to be your eternal slave. I will definitely be useful to my liege. Nathan screamed with a hope-filled expression. His 0.000000001% gamble had paid off and now he has a second chance at life. He could finally see a slight light at the end of a previous pitch-black tunnel. And, he was grasping on to every shred of hope still left. Suddenly, an unknown energy began to invade his body. It was like nothing he had ever experienced in his life. It felt like a true blessing of pleasure and joy. He felt true bliss, like all his pains and worries were being flown down a river. Suddenly, Nathan felt an immense pain coming from his head in the area where Moby is grabbing. How fucking stupid do you think I am? Moby wailed as his grip on Nathan's head became much tighter, forming cracks in Nathan's skull. Suddenly, Nathan felt like his blood was boiling with the heat of 1,000 suns. Every bone in his body bent in weird ways and broke all at once over and over again. All his organs felt like they turned inside out. He felt his skin start to boil off with the intensity of boiling magma. Black blood started to pour out of every orifice of his body in liters. His previously blonde hair could be seen turning white with the naked eyes before starting to fall like rain on the ground, turning him bald. His skin started to age and gain wrinkles at rapid speed, and his fat chub started to fade away, making him look like a starving, old senior citizen. The torture lasted for over 10 minutes before it stopped. Nathan was now on the ground completely motionless, shriveled up like an old leaf, but he was still very much alive. Moby and Jaden had been watching the entire spectacle in awe and amusement. It was like they were watching the World Cup finals where their favorite team came back from a 20-0 deficit in only the last 10 minutes of play. Moby's experiment had ended much better than he expected. Moby had wanted to try this experiment out for a very long time now, and what better guinea pig than Nathan? Moby had noticed all the extreme pain that comes with turning into a demon, so he wanted to test out if it could be turned into a torture method. Moby's theory was that if he provides Nathan less demon energy than needed and does not give it with the intent to turn him into a demon, that it would provide the same painful torture effects without turning him into a demon. The amount of torture and pain he had witnessed looked much more painful and took much longer than both his and Jaden's. Now, time for the moment of truth. Moby thought as he used his inspect skill on Nathan. Name, Nathan Johnson. Race, human. Ability, level 1 Earth. Power level, 40. HP, 9/100. Mana, 0/1. Strength, 1. Agility, 1. Endurance, 1. Intelligence, 1. Mind, 0. Moby's eyes became wide open in shock after witnessing Nathan's new stats. His stats have been so severely reduced to the point of crippling him. Those were the stats of a toddler or even a newborn baby. Moby noticed that he was also still human, which means that his experiment was a complete success. I'm impressed you figured that out all by yourself. A familiar voice came from Moby's head which he had not heard speak in a while. For the last few days, Avelia has been very quiet, taking a back seat and enjoying the show, eating metaphorical popcorn. All that Moby had heard from her are her insanely loud laughs every time something funny happens or when he starts to torture people. This was the first time in a while that he had heard her finally speak to him. When you inject demon energy into a human without the intent of turning them into a demon, it will cause them such an astronomical amount of pain and anguish that is almost unrivaled. It is far more painful than your evolution process, without a shadow of a doubt. However, this technique has many limitations. It can only be used if the opponent is either severely weakened and injured or when someone willingly lets you inject your demon energy into their body. That is why this technique is only really used for torture. The more demon energy you inject into your target, the more suffering you will cause them. Seeing that you provided this Nathan guy with just under the needed amount to turn a human into a demon, it caused a really insane amount of pain. Avelia explained. Thank you for the explanation, Avelia. It seems like my theory was mostly true. Moby thought in excitement. Moby now had a quick, easy, and accessible way of torture that is far more painful than he could ever normally cook up. You are growing much smarter and more cunning these days. I'm starting to like you even more. I feel like you will make a fine demon lord. Avelia said in a happy tone. Thank you for the compliment, Avelia. Moby thought. No problem. I only compliment you when I feel like you deserve praise. And now, you deserve it. Avelia said with a mental equivalent of a smile. Moby looked over at Nathan's still unconscious body and decided to take his final piece of revenge. The cherry on top. He unzipped his pants, pissing all over Nathan's shriveled face. Suddenly, Nathan opened his eyes slowly. Oh. Sorry. I ran out of water, so I decided to piss on you instead. Moby said with a loud laugh. Nathan ignored the stench of piss that his body reeked off, as it was currently the least of his worries. The memory and pain of his last torture had just hit him like a train all at once. His body was so weak that he could barely even move. He looked at his stick-like arms and legs in eyes of complete horror. He was shivering faster than a vibrator on steroids. When he saw the figure of Moby and Jaden in the distance, his eyes became even more fearful than before. Which was very hard to believe even for him. Stay the fuck away from me. Never again. Please, never again. Never again. I will take anything but that. Literally anything. Make me eat my dick or my shit again. Break every bone in my body with a sledgehammer. Peel my skin off with a rusty knife like I was an orange. Just please, don't make me go through whatever you just did to me ever again. Nathan screamed like a complete nutcase. Sadly, even if Moby wanted to do it again, Nathan would just end up withering away and dying. Moby looked at his watch to check the time. 10:34, curfew was only in 1 hour and 26 minutes, so he did not have much time remaining. Nathan's body was now too weak to be tortured. His bones were as fragile as a stick and his organs and bone structure looked like they were about to fail in less than an hour, even if good healing was provided. Jaden. You know what to do, right? Moby said to Jaden with a smile. Yes. Of course. I've been waiting for this. Jaden said with a distorted grin from ear to ear, truly befitting of a demon, leaving Nathan somehow more fearful than before. If you enjoy my novel, please vote to help support me and to tell me you are enjoying my